Michael Anthony, who finished 39th here in this tournament this week. And here's the man that finished second. Tough little competitor at 5'5", 125 pounds. Norm Duke.
These last three players left, Duke, Branham, and Wonderlick, are bowling as well as I've seen any young players in recent years, Chris.
Imagine that. He won his first tournament at 18 years of age. He's now 22. Looking for his third title. Branham has won 2 matches, looking for his second title. Look at his average today, 242.5.
Interesting to see if he could sustain that pace. He's just been phenomenal. Every ball but one in the pocket in the first 2 games.
10-pin on the right lane. He had 6 strikes in his 217 victory over Jimmy Certain at 199. 9 strikes against Mike Albee, 268, 257. Albee had 8 strikes.
And Branham the third, 68% pocket percentage for first 2 games, 15 strikes and 22 attempts. Starts off with a 10-pin.
And the winner of this, our next to last match, will meet the tournament leader, Steve Wonderlick of St. Louis, Missouri. Young man with a lot of talent.
Interesting story on our tournament leader also, Chris. He had his bowling ball stolen last night from the bowling center. He will be going with a backup ball that he just found, so it'll be interesting to see how he handles that championship match against one of these 2 players in the semifinal. Who wins the semifinal?
And now it's a 7-pin on the left lane.
Branham just slightly light in the pocket in his first 2 shots here in the semifinal match. The ball drives the head pin to the sideboard. It takes out the 2, 4, and 5, but leaves the 7-pin. And in these lane conditions here today, you have to watch for the lanes sometimes getting a little slicker or tightening up, as we call it, as some of the lane conditioner is carried down towards the pocket area. George just needs to reduce his speed slightly.
George Branham, who defeated Albee 268 to 257. We indicated that was his second best score on the PBT Tour. Mark Baker had a 279 and Dave Ferraro a 278 in the 1985 Austin Open.
This young man has gone into a terrific training program for this season.
Up 2-4-5-8 for Norm Duke. Throughout this tournament, he was never less than second.
Duke, short of stature but strong on power, gets a demonstrative push away, the high backswing similar to what we saw Pete Weber use last week. Low at the line, has tremendous wrist action, just throws that ball a little too hard. Leaves the 2, 4, 5, and 8. The conversion here, he would lead this match by 1 pin.
Duke of Fort Worth could today become the 3rd Texan to win the last 3 tournaments. Mark Williams of Beaumont winning the last in the 1986 tour. Last week, Del Ballard. And now Norm.
Norm, the training program he told me he was on all the way through December and on into the start of January was simply this. He got up in the morning, ran 5 miles every day, went to the bowling center, practiced approximately 3 hours, then went to the gymnasium 3 days a week, worked out on the Nautilus machines. He is ready.
4-7 on the left lane. And he said, Bo, what he wanted to do is build up more leg strength than upper body. He's got a pretty good upper body for a small person.
Yes, he does, but the leg strength, as you alluded to, Chris, is the most important in bowling. As you see a slightly high hit by Norm Duke, driving the 2 pin over the 4 and 7 pins. He'll go across lane, approximately the 3rd arrow for a target, trying to drive the 4 into the 7 and let the ball take out both pins. But the leg strength is more important in bowling than the arm strength.
All right.
Spin the foot.
Spare in the 3rd, 1 pin separating these 2 professionals. And our tournament leader, Steve Wonderlick, warming up off to the right. Next strike coming after 2 spares.
An ideal arm swing. He takes that ball inside, brings it slightly outside his target line. Now watch how he wraps it back in behind his hips, drives right down next to that left leg, keeps that elbow and wrist underneath the ball. And what he did on that shot was just snap that wrist a little bit more to make the ball finish, driving all 10 pins in the pit. Great adjustment. He leads the match by 1 through 3 frames.
That angle, a great picture and audio tip for all you bowlers at home. So George Branham in his 3rd match of the afternoon has doubled. The AC Delco Classic will continue after this. 5th frame. Hit, and it's the 6, 7, 10. We bowled through, and while we were away, he marked with a strike in the 4th frame. Now this hit in the 5th.
Norm Duke cuts right through the middle of the pins, and if he can slide that 6 pin over into the 7-pin area, he can convert the split. Has to stand to the extreme left side of the approach, send the 6 pin straight over into the 7, and he would hold the deficit down to just 11 pins.
Cross lane shot. Didn't quite pull it off, so it's a 23-pin lead for George Branham, who has a double up. Shooting now in the 5th frame.
Branham has just been near perfect so far. If you're just tuning in, he just bowled so sensational his first 2 matches. Now has Duke on the ropes in the early going, can extend his lead to 33 pins. 5th frame.
Living with opioid addiction can be a struggle. Supplicate with counseling is for adults with moderate to severe opioid addiction.
Remember, 6 strikes in his first victory, 9 in his 2nd. Now he has strung 3 here in his 3rd game of the afternoon.
In this tournament, Chris, in the qualifying, I had the good fortune of bowling next to George all the way through the 18 games, and he bowled the very same way. He just didn't quite have the carry in the early going of the tournament. He was just very diligent about keeping his form together, concentrating, keeping the ball around the pocket, and he has just carried it right into this championship match. He leads by 33.
Branham
And add 10 more for Branham. Here you see the leaders by round, qualifying rounds and then match play.
Qualifying rounds, each of 6 games, 18 games, a match play consisting of 24 games, Albee, and then Wonderlic caught him in the 5th and 6th rounds, 42 game total for this week, but now it's just down to 3 players, 2 games left. Duke trails by 43 pins coming up in the 6th.
Norm Duke from Texas. A lot of great golfers from that state. We asked him why there's so many good bowlers from Texas.
It's an awful big state. I would have to credit most of the success to the tournament activity they have in Texas. A player has a chance to win anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000 a weekend, most every weekend. So therefore, they get a lot of experience bowling for the Bucks, and a lot of good players are coming from Texas.
I think it's a point well taken. What he meant is there's a lot of handicap tournaments and scratch tournaments organized on a local level, and all the Texas players participate in it. That's the way to stay sharp, always with that ball in your hand.
Wanted to cut it to 33, but left a 10 pin.
Norm did not need that shot right there. He threw apparently a great roll on the ball, left a solid 10 at an inopportune time as he switches to a little bit harder ball to slide it into the 10 pin. But with a conversion through 7 frames, he'll trail the very red-hot George Branham by 43 pins.
All right, the AC Delco Classic, our 6th. We'll be back. More strikes while we were away to put his string to 6 here in his 3rd match. Here is his last shot.
He just gives his opponent no chance. Puts the pressure on Norm Duke here, 8th frame to extend to 6 strikes in a row. a possible 279 for Branham in this game. The best Duke can do is 216. And that figure has just dropped to 203. Norm Duke struggling a little bit, but it's really not his fault. Branham has just been near perfect so far in 3 matches.
Yep, I think Branham just
For the loser of this third game, $8,500. The winner will go into the finals. They bowled for $41,000, 27 to the winner, $14,000 to the loser. The defending champion, Randy Peterson, finished 72nd in this year's AC Delco Classic.
Duke just finishing out the match has bowled so well all week long. You're going to see a lot more of this young man. He's been on an excellent training program. He's finally come into his own. He has the experience, the determination, and he's going to win a lot of tournaments.
And that stroke is just about as smooth as they come. What a delivery by Norm Duke. And what an afternoon for George Branham, leading by 66.
Branham, who was seated in the first match, has a chance to go all the way through the field, much like Randy Peterson did here in the AC Delco Classic last year, defeating Dennis Jakes in the championship match. Potential 279. He has 6 strikes in a row.
Unreal. Now leading by 76, and is the winner. The Professional Bowlers Tour will
That's the
continue after
performance
this
by
match.
Branham.
And a word from
Like and
our
subscribe.
local station.